if you ever truly want to connect with someone, if you're going to allow yourself to be vulnerable, if you want to be a person of influence and a true partner, you have to work through this exercise with anybody that's on your team or anybody that's truly going to be your partner. The exercise is simple. It's all about your history, your heroes, your heartbreak, and your hopes. I was recently put through this exercise by a senior level executive, and wow, it absolutely changed our dynamic for the better and for always. You want to hear what I'm talking about? You're going to have to listen, take notes, and check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Lone Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and with me from the TLOP crew, we have our producer extraordinaire, Karina Mojica, a.k.a. Special K, and my boy, my business partner, the one, the only, Marketing Mike. Karina, Mikey, welcome back to TLOP.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Hello.
Yeah, let's
excited.
go.
I'm excited.
Yes. Exciting episode.
Yeah.
Like, I think I just kind of, set the tone. And it's cool. Like, we talk about, okay, what's your history? Mm-hmm. Who are your heroes? Talk about one time you had your heart broken, right? Something didn't go your way. And more importantly, what are your hopes? And of all my years in sales and all my years in leadership, it actually took me going on a site visit up to Detroit, sitting down with Anthony Frederick, right? Anthony Frederick's the SVP of sales at UWM. Mm-hmm. And Anthony and I didn't know each other. Yet this was our opportunity to get to know each other. And he came in what I thought was like prepared, like, oh, this dude did his research, right? The TLOP guy, the podcast guy, the coach of coaches is going to be up here. I'm going to drill him with questions. And he came prepared, and he asked me questions all about my history, all about my heroes, all about that one or two times I've had my heart broken, and all about my hopes.
That's awesome.
And
What a cool
I left
thing.
there thinking, this is my new best friend.
Yeah.
I left there feeling like I'm connected to him. And I know for sure he left feeling like I know who that guy is. Mm-hmm. Like, as a man, I know who that is.
Is this something he coined, or is it from someone else?
No, it's like anything great in life.
Yeah.
Like, we all have our own versions, right? We all have our own spin. I mean, hell, everything that we coach at TLOP's Originator Coaching, very little of it is a 100% authentic, brand new idea. Mm. And you don't want the 100% like authentic ideas because they haven't been proven.
Exactly.
So we coach what is proven, but we coach it our way. We put a modern spin on it. Mm-hmm. I obviously pull on thousands of loans personally funded, and I pull on, hundreds of people coached right throughout my career, but it's never brand new. So I'm sure Anthony, this was never brand new. He told me a story about how Matt Campbell, head coach of the Detroit Lions. Mm-hmm. It was either Matt Campbell or it was Mike Vrabel. Both of them big dudes, both of them now head coaches, both of them, one played linebacker, one played tight end, but they're massive men who played professional football, and now they're some of the better, younger head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
It was one of them when they came into their new role and they had to change culture inside of the locker room. They changed culture with another 100 grown-ass alpha male men.
Yeah.
But they did so with those 4 words.
Wow.
Right? Just following it. So
crazy.
much of today's episode is going to be encouraging ourselves.
Yeah.
When you're trying to connect with, it could be a new friend, a new colleague. It could be a new mentee, a new mentor. It could be a borrower. It probably is going to be a referral source. Mm-hmm. Or it may be something that you're asking when you're interviewing people, or better yet, you want to ask the person interviewing you, right? We've all heard about Ford, right? Are you familiar with the analogy Ford?
Fix or repair daily?
Yeah, okay, yes. No, that's the car, right? No, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
Okay, cool.
If you're trying to get to know somebody, like, you can use that acronym and learn something about their family, about their occupation, about their recreation, about their dreams. Mm-hmm. Right. So, like, I can sit back and say, okay, I know about Mike's family. Yeah. Right. I know you have 2 kids. I know your wife. I know your wife has 3 sisters. Like, I feel like I know that. right? I know that you have two parents. Your parents are still together. I even know what your dad does for a living.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have a good idea.
Yeah.
Occupation, good on that.
Yep.
Recreation, like I can tell people that you used to be into music, that used to be really big into golf.
Golf, yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
on.
so, and then your dreams, I even feel like I know your dreams. Right? So like, I try to pick up on everybody's forward. Right? On Karina, honestly, recreation and dreams, I'm probably lacking on.
Oh, I was like, let's hear this.
Right?
Well, it's okay. I am too. So.
Nice.
Yeah, no,
So
fair
it's
enough.
awesome.
But I've never had it positioned the way that I had it positioned. So I figured, you know, let's have fun today. Obviously, look, this could have been probably a 3-minute read on LinkedIn. It could have been a 9-minute video on the Coach's Corner up on YouTube, or we can turn it into a 25-minute podcast episode. Let the audience continue to get to know you and Karina better.
Yeah.
Allow me to get a little bit vulnerable, and I'll kind of walk you through it. But I'll tell you that I feel like Anthony Frederick's my new best friend. I know he's not.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't get a chance to reverse it on him. I don't know enough about his 3 H's or his 4 H's, right? But I know he knows a part of me that so few do, and I feel like he cares.
How did he outlay it? Was it just kind of like,
He
hey,
didn't
Dustin,
tell
here's
me.
what I want to do with you today?
No.
We're going to do the 4 H's, or did he just naturally progress
like,
through them?
like any master, like
Yeah.
any professional is so conversational.
Yeah.
He then later told me what he did.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's why I was
He
wondering,
later
was
knew what
it
he was
structured?
doing,
Like,
yeah.
do I sit down with someone and
Yeah,
say, hey,
no.
let's do the 4 H's?
No, and then I wrote it down.
Nice.
Right? And then I wrote it down. But yeah, so we're going to get into it. But first, before we do, let's take a quick pause so we can hear from today's show sponsor. Check this out. Y'all, something big is happening at Lower Mortgage. And if you're paying attention to this industry, you've probably noticed. In just the last month alone, Lower has added some serious horsepower. We're talking top producers representing over $350 million in volume. These aren't rookies kicking tires. These are heavy hitters who've done their homework and made the move. That should tell you something. On top of that, Lower just acquired Movoto, a top 5 real estate portal with over 150 visitors just last year. Before that, they brought in Neat Labs, and now they're launching Lower OS, a next-gen mortgage platform that's cutting loan delivery times down to 10 days. This isn't a company standing still. Lower doubled their volume last year, and they're projecting another 40 to 50% growth this year. The best in the business are taking notice, and they're voting with their feet. Here's the reality. The companies that are going to win in this market are the ones investing in technology, building real infrastructure, and competing at scale. Lower is doing all of that. They're going head to head with the Rockets of the world, and they're built for originators, not against them. If you're a producer who wants to be a part of something that's actually going somewhere, not just surviving, but growing, this is the moment. Lower Mortgage, the momentum is real. All right, so we're back. And I don't even know if there's a specific order. Like, I didn't write them down in order. I kind of remember how Anthony asked them to me in order. But I would guess you would start with history. Like, I think if I'm storytelling, I always like to think once upon a time.
Yeah.
Right? Once upon a time, there was X. And then I want to end a story with...
Where are you going?
Where are we going? So I would bookend this 100% with first, tell me about your history.
Yeah.
And then second, and then lastly, tell me about your hopes, right? Your hopes, your dreams. That's where you're trying to go.
Yeah, cool.
But then in the middle, it's like, does it matter if I go into your heroes first or if I go into your heartbreak? Personally, I would go heroes before heartbreak because if I can get you talking about your history, I'm already creating a safe place for you.
Right.
If I can ask you talking about your heroes, I'm already starting off on the right foot because it's a positive conversation. Once I've built that trust and I've gotten you in a position where you're opening up, right now you're more willing to be vulnerable with me, which means being truthful and honest. And then now you'll share with me some heartbreak.
Yep.
And then once I understand your heartbreak also tells me about where you've been. It tells me like, where are your scars? We're all wired a certain way, typically by things that didn't go well. Right. And we've now created these pathways where we're trying to either avoid feeling that way again or avoid, making someone else feel a certain way because we had some kind of a heartbreak. And then, yes, let's end on a positivity. Man, what are your hopes? Where are you trying to go?
Right.
So that's a little exercise that each and every one of you can honestly Go do that with a teammate. Go do that with a new business partner. Do that on your next interview, or better yet, if you're being interviewed, ask the person interviewing you. And first, sit with yourself and think about it. Right?
Yeah.
You two have had a little bit of a chance to think about this, right?
Yeah.
You've had a small chance. But I'm curious. I'm going to walk through this because Karina's the person I know the least. So we're gonna put her on the spot a little bit.
I love it.
She hates it. Look at her. Look, her chair starts swiveling right
Oh
away.
my God.
Yeah.
God,
You're doing
you
the
see
swivel.
everything.
Yeah.
The nerves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the amount of experience you're gaining on this show, I'm so happy for you.
Aw, thank you.
I really am. I mean, obviously you're growing as a professional, but it's like it's forcing you to have conversations and
Yeah,
adult
for sure.
conversations that maybe you don't necessarily get if you're stuck behind a computer doing graphic design all day.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Facts.
So
sure.
this is an opportunity. I know some days we bore you because you're like, oh, more mortgage talk.
Yeah.
More mortgage
business
talk.
Yeah,
talk.
these were fun podcasts today.
When you go to buy your first house, you'll be grateful. Because you're like, oh, shit,
yeah.
I know
Oh,
that?
yeah, I'm gonna know
wait a
everything.
minute. I know that? Okay, we're good now.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, history. It's like walk us through. How would you describe in like one sentence or two what was growing up like?
I think it was. I feel like it was. I don't want to. Maybe humbling, kind of in a way. Like I realized
Good childhood, safe childhood?
it was a good childhood for sure. A fun childhood, amazing childhood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's just do
Yep.
that.
Graduated high school. What did you do coming out of school? Like what was your first career choice?
I didn't know. I had
Okay.
no idea what I wanted to do until
remember.
Michael
I remember, yeah.
came to me with this idea, and I was like, "Sure, let's do that." And then
So what were you doing before your older brother-in-law came up to you and said, which you
I
have a
was
lot
just
of those
working.
guys in your life.
Yeah.
I mean,
did.
you're the youngest of 4 girls, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have at least 2, if not 3 brothers-in-law.
Yes.
You know, it's brothers-in-law.
Brothers-in-law.
Yeah, too many times we say brother-in-laws, but there's only one law, but there's 3 brothers. Yeah, we screwed that
My
up. It's
brothers-in-law.
brothers.
Yeah, that sounds
in-law.
so weird.
Nice.
Okay, so you went to one of your older brothers-in-law, who's Mike. Who
Yeah, I
you
was
love to
just-
call Michael, by the
I
way.
was just working at Walmart. I didn't really have
Yeah, I
an
remember
idea.
that.
I didn't know what to do. I was so stuck. Like everyone had this vision of going to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to go to college for. So
Yeah.
I didn't
You
know
went for
what
a
to
minute.
do. I did go
Yeah.
to school after I was working with Michael. I was like, maybe I want to do marketing. Like
Yeah.
I want to go to school for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, and it was just the worst decision of my life. Like I was crying every day. Like I was like, I don't know how people do this. I can't. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. The school, the math, like it was like calculus 3. Like it was just so much.
All to get a marketing degree.
Yeah, all
Like,
just to do
yeah.
it. And I was like, I'm already working this every day. Like,
Right.
why am I going to school for this? So
Yeah, so you got to enter the work world humbly.
Yeah.
Because someone saw something and you took a chance on you.
yes,
And you started doing graphic design.
yes,
Right? So your history is, hey, I started doing graphic design. After graphic design, you started learning social media, right?
Well, it was social media and
Oh,
then graphic
and then
design.
graphic design.
Yeah, and now video editing and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
It
now
just keeps going.
Okay, and then we can get into your hopes. We'll talk about what comes next.
Right.
Okay, cool. Mike, how
Great
about for you? Like, what was your history?
My dad was a small business owner. I mean, I'll make a long story
Yeah.
short. I think I've given it once on the podcast before. Dad was a small business owner. I had a good upbringing. Parents, you know, we had money if we needed to spend it. I wasn't like spoiled by any means. Public school system, always a leader. You know, one senior superlative was best leader in the school. I was president of the elementary school and all that good stuff. So always a leader. And then was going to be a lawyer. I was supposed to be an attorney. So I went, did the law school thing at Florida State University, and I just said it's not for me. And then went down my entrepreneurial path.
Yeah, and you opened your first business at how old?
25.
And what was it?
American-made beverages.
Yeah, so a vodka company.
Yeah, vodka company.
But it didn't start as a vodka company.
No,
Yeah, what'd you want to make?
tequila. So
Yeah.
yeah, we wanted to make tequila, and then I found out after a tequila can only be identified by the TTB as a tequila, like classified as a tequila, if it's made in Mexico. So I was like, okay, I'm not flying to Mexico. I don't like to fly. I didn't then, and I don't now. So I did some research online, and I actually found a distiller down in Riviera Beach, Florida. And that's how that got off the ground, and I switched it
By
to
the way,
vodka.
Riviera Beach is not that much safer than Mexico.
Bro. But you know what's weird is it's right next to Singer Island.
Oh,
So-
Singer Island's gorgeous.
Yeah, Palm Beach Gardens. Like,
Yeah.
anyway. So we got the vodka done because it was the cheapest and quickest to produce
Okay.
out of the spirits. And I was into partying at the time, so I loved Ciroc, effing vodka, Grey Goose. Yeah.
Yeah, you like the club scene.
Yeah, the
It
club
makes
scene.
sense.
That was my jam.
Yeah, but like to someone who's getting to know you, it's like, yeah, I came from an entrepreneurial family.
Yep.
But since age 25, you've been a serial entrepreneur.
Myself.
I mean,
yep.
you have ownership interest in at least 5 companies you have had.
Yep.
Right, because you and your wife had a company. Then you had the marketing agency. Then you had the golf cart company. You got G&G Supply.
That was the second company.
TLOP,
The second company was Better Baby. That's the online baby clothing boutique, and that's actually how we got the money to buy our first house. We put a healthy down payment. So,
yeah.
was
So
a good one.
that's your history.
Yeah.
So when Anthony asked me, "Hey, tell me about your history," I didn't like. A lot of people have heard my story.
Did he frame it like that? Like, hey, tell me about your history?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because when you say, tell me about your history, where do you want to go?
It's pretty broad.
Right.
Yeah, and I asked a qualifying question. I'm like, well, like, how far back do you want me to go?
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, do you want to know that I was raised by my grandmother from age like 9 months to 14 months because my dad was working full time, my mom was sick? Like, we didn't go that far back.
Yeah.
But I was like, no. So like my normal, I go, look, raised the son of a school bus driver and electrician. Most people know the story because it's my signature story.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up in an amazing household, like 2 amazing parents, lots of structure, lots of security, lots of love.
Yeah.
And, have always been fascinated by money and people. I want to know how money is made. I want to know how people operate.
Yep.
And I knew at an early age, probably like 14, 15, 16, whatever I do has to be able to pay a lot of money and I have to work with people.
Why?
Because I've always wanted money. I didn't come from money. So I always looked up to people who had money. My mom always looked up to people with money.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't look up to people with money. My dad looks up to people who work hard.
Yeah.
My mom, whether she said it or not, her actions were, if you look good and smell good and you drive fancy cars and you live in fancy houses, she always talked about them in a very positive manner.
Yeah.
I always wanted to have money.
Yeah.
And I loved working with people. And I like people. I genuinely do.
Yeah. I mean, clearly.
yes.
I've learned that about you.
Yeah. So it was just, it was like mortgage or life insurance or financial advisory was an easy path for someone like me. And then I went on to say, like, look, I started in this industry as a lost, broke, scared originator. Like, I know what that's like. I know what it's like to go do manual labor on the weekends because I need to buy diapers. I know what it's like to drive around Central Florida with a for sale sign in my car because I couldn't afford 2 car payments, but I had 2 car payments, my wife's and I had mine.
Yeah.
Like, I know what it's like to defer student loans. I know what it's like to get a $600 tax refund and feel like I'm rich for at least 3 weeks because that was $600 more that I had in my bank account than I did the previous 12 months.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's an important part of my history. But then I wanted him to know, I said, but I became a top producer. I survived the crash. I then built something from $40 million a year to $40 million a month to $1 billion with 2 business partners. I've learned in my life that one of my favorite words that starts with the letter P is partnership, right? It's why I have you and Steven.
Yep.
Partnership. David and Mike, partnership. So that was kind of my history.
Yeah.
And then I talked a little bit because I was up at UWM about how and why we started the podcast.
Nice.
Right? Like, look, I love talk radio. I always have since I was a teen. I am somebody that if you sit down with me at a college sports game, especially football, I'm probably annoying to sit next to because I commentate the whole thing and I will call it before the commentators call it. I will see it before they see it and I enjoy it. It's how I show my enjoyment.
Yeah.
But I have to be cognizant that not everyone around me, except for the girl who sits right in front of me at UCF games, she'll tell her friends when they come, hey, look, that's Dustin. He's super nice. However, you don't have to worry about watching the game. He's going to tell you exactly what's going on play by play.
That's awesome.
Right? So I always had that part of me. But when I started the show, I wanted to create content. I wanted to teach the shit they didn't teach us in school. I wanted to teach everybody what I learned because I became a loan officer. And quite honestly, I kind of wanted to be Dave Rogan and Dave Ramsey, but I wanted to be D.O.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to be me, but I loved both their types of content. I just want to do it my own style. So that was my history.
Yeah.
So then when he said heroes, I was like, oh, shit. This is a tough one.
It is.
But I know my answer because it's not fair to y'all. I just had to do this exercise 3-4 weeks ago. If I said, Karina, who's your hero? Who's one person you look up to? Look, it can be Selena Gomez, right? It can be your mom. It can be your abuela. But your big sister. Do you have? It could be a teacher, right? There's no wrong or right. Who? If I said, who's your hero?
I'd probably say my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Without crying, can you tell me 2 sentences why? And if you can't, it's okay. I don't need you to get all emotional.
She's just very inspiring. She's done a lot on her own. I feel like she's been a single mom most of her life, so with 5 kids at that. And she's very like, do everything yourself. Like, she doesn't need nobody for nothing. Like, she's very independent. So I just aspire to be like her in the future.
Yes.
Like, yeah, she's just definitely someone I look up
Yeah,
to.
Kelly Clarkson sings a song about her. Right? She is Miss Independent, right?
Right.
I was thinking.
You're going Beyonce on me.
Cut that out,
Holy
please.
cow. No. Yeah, okay.
Destiny's
Oh
Child.
my God.
So on your end, Hero.
Man.
TLOP Unite is not your typical mortgage event. This is the first ever TLOP cruise experience built exclusively for originators. And for 4 days, it's not about the speakers, it's about you. We're talking breakout strategy sessions, real conversations, curated events, and uninterrupted access to a community that helps you grow. If you're serious about taking your career to the next level, this is where you need to be. Space is limited and the price is right. So click the link now and learn more.
It's like for you. Like, yeah. That's a tough one. I mean, that's a really tough one.
Yeah.
Like, I have a few heroes in politics that I won't say on the show.
Okay.
But
As long as you're dead, you can say them. If they're still alive, we don't go down that path.
But I mean, like, this is a soft one, right? I'm not like hard on this, but like Elon Musk. I think what Elon Musk has done for the world is insane. The guy has changed the world single-handedly, and he has a relentless pursuit to make the human race better.
Yeah.
I'm like super impressed by that.
So I like.
If I could think about it more, it'd probably be something
Yeah,
else.
well,
But
it's always a hard one, right? And
Yeah.
and again, there's never a wrong or a right. What I'm trying to do is bond with somebody.
Yeah.
I'm trying to myself and allow myself to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm asking them to be vulnerable, but I have to make them feel safe when I'm asking this question. And it's
So who's
giving
yours?
me a little bit of backstory about who they are. Well, it's hard for me because if we qualified it with, well, who's a historical figure that you look up
Exactly.
to, I would be like, oh, Alexander Hamilton.
Okay.
Right. I mean, read the book after I fell in love with the soundtrack of the play. Then I watched the play. Then I read the book, and it all came flooding in. So much about who he was. I'm just like, damn. Right. And I'm sure he was flawed.
Yeah.
Well, we all know he's flawed in one instance because he had a little mistress. That's what prevented him from running for president. It's just that he got caught. I mean, come on.
Come on.
Like,
Why you getting
come
caught,
on now.
dog?
It's just because he got caught. Because I'm sure the rest of them were no saints.
Yeah.
And that whole book was really cool because when you read the biography of Alexander Hamilton, I think Chernow's the author. It's an insight that we're 250 plus years into this republic, and bro, we ain't no different.
Yeah.
Like we literally Fox News and MS and CNBC or is it in
MSNBC.
MS? That's the crazy one, right? Fox is crazy.
CNN's a crazy one.
No, they're least of the. There's 2 crazies. One of them is like whatever it is. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I think it's MSNBC.
Okay. Yeah, I get. Well, one of them is financials.
NBC.
No, it's NBC, but then there's an affiliate to NBC.
Okay.
I
Drop a
usually
comment.
know this.
I
No,
wanna
they're gonna
look
bash
this
me
up.
for not knowing
We'll
this.
Google it in a minute.
One of them is the actual like financial markets that we.
Yeah, I
wanna
know.
turn on in the
I know
office.
which one you're talking about.
The other one with Rachel Maddow is the crazy one,
drawing
right?
a blank.
Yeah,
Yes.
I always call them the crazies and Fox the crazies.
Yeah, they're the
I just
crazies.
kind of discount CNN as
They're hardline.
whatever.
Yeah. Just watch the BBC.
NPR, AP News, yeah.
So,
but
anyway.
anyhow, so I would probably go there, but in my life, like I didn't have a sports coach that I was like, oh, that's it. I didn't have a neighbor that I was like, oh. I looked up a lot to my Uncle Chris, but I think I looked up to just anybody who was a no nonsense, no bullshit man's man. Like this dude.
That's awesome.
Like ready. He had, when I was a young kid, he had a hot girlfriend who had horses. He would take me to his hot girlfriend's house and let me ride her horses. I was like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Today, guess what I like?
Horses. You do?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
do. That's cool.
I remember he was a bouncer at a bar. I grew up and I'm like, yeah, if you're a badass, you're a bouncer at a bar. So what did I do in college?
did that.
I bounced at one of the largest country bars in all of Central Florida. My uncle used to bring me real gas masks and canteens and fatigues because he was in the Army. When I was probably 9, he was stationed at Fort Leonard Wood. He was a drill sergeant. Man. I got to spend the day with him.
That's cool.
What did I want to do at 18? Enlist. What did I try to do at 18, 20, and 22? Enlist.
Wow.
You know what I learned? They don't take people that have fake teeth into the military.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, all of my teeth, 10 dental implants. Like, I mean, my whole entire mouth is bridge work.
Yeah.
So, you know, that maybe even played into the history a little bit.
Right.
But hero, man, I got to go to my parents.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like a cop-out, but I'm like, I shouldn't be a cop-out. Like, they did it right, right? They did it right. And, you know, and my dad plays a pivotal role in, like, leading by example. He wasn't the rah-rah that I am, right? His rah-rah was like a freaking lecture.
Yeah. And
you getting your ass chewed because I rolled up the extension cord the wrong way, or I, like, drug the garbage cans out to the curb and I didn't pick them up. Like, you know, but anyhow, so I just kind of lean on my parents because I look at their life today in their 70s, their life in their 40s, how they raised me and my sister. I can't put anyone else in front of them. Yeah. So I go parents. So after we do that, we talk about heartbreak.
Yep.
Like, and you're young, Karina. So like when you go heartbreak, you may think of like, you know, little Stevie in 6th grade that asked you to be his girlfriend and then he broke your heart or whatever. But like, you know, like, do you have something that stands out when someone says, hey, tell me about one time that you were let down. You had your heart broke. You didn't get your way. You know, but you're not feeling safe.
If we're
right
not
now.
if we're not talking about like relationship heartbreak, like just
it could be anything.
Any
it can be relationship
heartbreak.
It
like,
can be.
I think I would go to one of my family members. I just said this in the last podcast, I think, but like I don't talk to one of my family members.
Okay.
And that like it still hurts me to this day that we don't talk, and we both have such like we're both really stubborn and we're both not gonna reach out to one another. So it's like because I feel like I didn't do anything wrong and she feels like she didn't do anything wrong, so we're both just like
could you not say I'm a big brother you for a minute? You didn't ask me to.
It's okay.
Can you not say I'm sorry we don't speak?
Yeah, I mean
I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's gotten to this. I miss you. I love you.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, but you can 100%.
Don't make me tear up.
You 100% can say, I'm sorry we don't speak. I miss you. I love you.
Yeah.
Put it on them.
Yeah.
Put it on them. Life's too short. We talked about that on the last episode. Yeah. Life's too short.
That's what I wish she would notice. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes.
She can't change her.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't change her.
But look, partnerships don't have to be equal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't have to meet someone 50-50.
Right.
If you can walk 30 feet, I can come 70.
Right.
Right? As long as we can get somewhere in common grounds, and we don't talk about that ever again.
Yeah.
But we should be able to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Unless they totally wronged you out.
Yeah.
But man, it would take a lot.
Right.
You could steal 10 grand from me, I'd probably still be your friend.
Exactly. Right.
I wouldn't lend you no more money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But yeah.
But it doesn't have to come.
Okay, but that's a moment in your life where like you've learned something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a lesson learned.
Definitely.
And it's something that still makes you sad today. Mm-hmm. Mike, when you think about heartbreak, it's probably some girl at Tallahassee.
Not a lot of
she
dog.
dogged you out.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's always going to be girls that we went through before being married. Like, there's always going to be the spouse. I think like genuine heartbreak was recently with the golf cart manufacturing company.
Yeah,
that one just it bothers me because it was outside of my control. It was like the economy and importing parts and everything got really difficult, and it was after a huge month that I sold more units than I could ever imagine.
Your hero fucked you.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't him actually. Yeah. You know what happened? Like real quick, it was EasyGo and Club Car formed a coalition against people importing Chinese parts.
Okay.
And that coalition put a 470% tariff on anybody that was importing these parts through from China. So that was me, the brand. And that's what happened. So I was handicapped, and I've been slowly shutting it down, like little by little. But I put in a good 2.5 years, blood, sweat, and tears, built something. It worked. We sold things, and then to have to slowly shut it down and slowly pay people back, it's just hasn't been good.
Yeah,
that's my heartbreak.
Yeah, no, I mean, that definitely works. I mean, I think anyone who's been in business long enough, I mean, I could fill up 3 podcast episodes talking about every crazy idea.
Yeah.
that I've had and executed and lost on.
Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna
Right.
lose,
And-
that's my loss. That's my one big
Yeah.
loss. So
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think heartbreak's easier. I try to stay away from, that one time that I got dumped when I was 15. Don't get me wrong, I still remember what that felt like.
oh yeah, it's the worst.
32 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, being 15, emotional, and by the way, you look back as an adult and you're like, that would have been disastrous. You two should have never been together. But at 15, you don't. So like, I think you learn from that, but that's not where my go-to. I could literally talk about this investment where I lost 25 grand, this investment where I lost 10 grand, this person that I don't talk to anymore because we tried to do business together and it didn't work out. And one of us took it personal and one of us didn't take it personal.
Yeah.
But relationships are a two-way street. So,
Right.
I have friends that, look, they've dealt with loss, right? Whether it was losing a child when they were young, whether it was losing a pregnancy, whether it was, losing a parent early on in life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember telling Anthony, I go, I'm so fortunate.
Yep.
But the one thing that stuck to me is, I don't know if y'all are familiar with AmeriCorps. So there's
heard of
Peace
that.
Corps.
Yeah.
Peace
AmeriCorps.
Corps, that's a way that you can go dedicate, typically in your early 20s, when you're a recent college grad, before maybe even grad school, you go and dedicate 2 years of your life to making the world a better place. And I had a cousin, her name is Carrie, and I remember her being like Kyrgyzstan for 2 years, like developing towns and cities and infrastructure, because this was right after the Iron Curtain had fallen.
Yeah.
So these were areas that are now on their own, but they were used to being supported by the Soviet Union when it still existed. And I remember her telling stories about like having to eat her horse because, true story, because a bad winter came in and they didn't have enough food. And right. So I, at 21, 22, I didn't want to do Peace Corps because that was for the rest of the world.
Right.
I'm a very patriotic person, extremely patriotic. And by the way, yes, you can be super patriotic and hate Fox News. I'm living proof of that. Okay?
Yeah, tell us without telling us.
Yeah. Well, I hate all the news. So I can say I hate Fox, I hate CNN,
Yeah.
and I hate the one that we can't remember its name because it's either MSNBC
Yeah.
or
I
it's
don't know what you
CNBC.
guys are
It's
talking about.
MSNBC is the crazy one. CNBC is the business one. Just FYI.
Okay, cool,
I
cool,
do
cool.
know the difference.
All right, good.
I just had a little mental fart because it's getting late in the afternoon.
It is.
But anyhow, super long story short, I'm graduating college. I'm proud of myself. I go and get all the recommendations. I fill everything out. I'm going to be a part of this AmeriCorps, which is like Peace Corps, but just in America. So I'm going to go to the Appalachian Mountains and I'm going to help them build community and build infrastructure. Or I'm going to go out to maybe some of the more native lands and work with their children in the school system for 2 years. Like, it was
that's
truly
cool.
helping people and it's a 2-year program. I didn't get it.
Like, you didn't get in?
I had never not gotten it. Like, I tried out for certain varsity sports. Not only did I make the team, I made captain.
Yeah.
Like 2 different, like homecoming court. Yep, did that. Like,
What were some requirements for this?
bro,
I
guess a better GPA, a better letters and recommendation.
Man.
Better. I went to school full time. I worked basically full time, and I had like 6 internships.
Wow.
Now, I wasn't a great student. My grades were like B, C's, get degrees.
Yeah,
like
I gotcha.
no, I probably graduated college with probably a 3.0.
Okay.
I was nowhere near having
Nothing wrong with that.
And my curriculum, as my kids would point out, like, Dad, you have a bachelor in arts degree. You don't have a bachelor in science. I wasn't trying to mess with calculus like Karina.
Serious.
Like, I was like, nah, my degree's in advertising and public relations.
Yeah.
Like, that's the material. But man, I remember the first time in my life, I'm talking, if I wanted a certain job, like, it didn't matter if it was the bouncing job, the job as a bartender, whatever I
you
wanted.
went in and got it.
I got that.
Yeah.
And at 22, I was handed
could
this
see
like
that.
massive humble pie and told to eat it.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me, but it stuck with me in a manner that I think it changed me for the better.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate that happened to me at 22 and not 42, because that means I got to learn that lesson so much earlier. And then finally, when I look at hopes, right? So you're the youngest in the room by a couple decades. What do you hope for when Karina pushes out to 2033, right? And now you're pushing 30 years of age.
Oof,
like what do you? Are you you're maybe at that point a little over 30? What's like what are you trying to get done? What are you trying to get accomplished?
I just want to have money.
But what does that? What does have money mean? Like is it X amount of dollars in the bank? Is it X amount of income? Is it X amount of lifestyle?
Financial freedom.
There you go.
Financial freedom to, I used to want to like own a business.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's for me. Like I really don't. Yeah, you really did. Honestly.
I know.
Especially with everyone in my family. Like Michael owns a business. My other sister owns a business. Her husband isn't, like, everyone around me owns businesses, and it's like I see how much work it is, and it's like, not that I don't want to do the work, but I don't want to, like, I feel like I don't want to, live to work. Like, I want to work to live, Like, I just want to enjoy.
Yeah.
No,
life.
you want to live to work. Oh, no.
She got it.
Yeah.
Work to live. She just wants to work to live.
Yeah.
She wants to be the 9 to 5, work to live.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's funny, financial independence, does that look like I want to make $60,000 a year but never have to work? Or I want to make $120,000 a year, but I'm willing to work 48 to 60 hours
I'm still willing to work, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want to make work everything. Like, So definitely just financial freedom, a happy family, a nice house, nice car.
So like
just
you're imagining having a spouse
nice, comfortable life.
or a partner, commingling assets, starting a family.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's a
your
general
income
happy life.
plus his income combined will allow
Travel.
You guys are comfortable. You get to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But that's always a hard one. Like I remember having an intern. She's like, I want to make all this money. I'm like, cool, how you going to make it? She's like naming 5 things. And I was like, hey, you know that the people I know that make a lot of money, they do one thing.
If you're a licensed originator who's closing loans, but you're not consistent, this is for you. If you're brand new or just looking for motivation, trust me, this is not for you. Most LOs don't need more information. They need structure. They need proven processes and somebody to hold them accountable. TLOP's Originator Coaching gives you weekly live coaching, scripts top producers actually use, and step-by-step business systems you can implement immediately. Not someday, we're talking day one. You're not watching videos alone. You're executing in real time with other originators who take this seriously. Right now, you can try it free for 2 weeks. That's 2 full weeks for free. You'll sit in on live coaching calls. You'll get access to the frameworks and see exactly how top producers run their business. If it creates clarity, if it creates momentum, or even if it puts wins on the board, you keep going. If it doesn't, no worries, you can cancel. No pressure at all. Click the link, start the 2-week trial, and finally, build this like a business, not a side hustle.
They do one thing better than most.
Right.
One. It's not, I do this and this and this and this. I go, if you want to be happy and you want to do this, this, and this, then if that's what makes you happy doing 5 different things, then do it.
Yeah.
But if you're prioritizing money, then prioritizing money means you do one thing and you do it the best.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be owning your own business, but that is a 7-day-a-week job.
Right.
Yep.
Or it could just be like, look, I want to go generate a bunch of revenue for a company, because the people who make a lot of money tend to generate a lot of revenue,
Right.
or they bring thoughts and ideas to the table that no one else can.
Yep.
So therefore, they're paid for their thoughts and their ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like when you look
cool.
at your hopes and dreams, it's like, look, I imagine a life where I'm starting a family, where I have a significant other, where I have a career that I love and pays me well. He has a career that he loves and pays him well. And combined, it allows us to have a house that we're comfortable living in and take vacations.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
I think I had to think about that for a second while we were chatting, but I think financial freedom is an easy one to say, right? I can do anything and make money right now. I don't think that's where I'm at. I think I'm past it, where like I could not do whatever 3 days a week and probably have the same income, but diversifying that income so that it's working for me, number one, which is I'm there. But number two, I think it's making an impact. Like, and what I say by that is not necessarily like I want to have my 50 grand a year that I donate to St. Jude's, or like make an impact and leave a mark. Like I want to build things that people know, right?
Yeah.
I want my name to be known in the ether. Like Michael Siciliano built X, Y, and Z. Like he was a savvy business entrepreneur, and the way his brain worked was different. Like making that impact that's where I want to be. Like, and I give, my goal was always by 40 years old. So I got 5 more years. By 40 years old, I wanted my portfolio to make enough money where I could say, hey guys, peace, which I can almost do right now. So now
Your portfolio, your investment portfolio, or a portfolio of companies?
My portfolio of businesses, investments, all the above. My cash, even the some that's sitting there with my annual percentage yield, like I'm making it off of, like everything. I could pack it up and say I'm done working if I had to.
Yeah.
And live comfortably. But
would you still have to run your companies, or you think by then your companies are
I think by then I'm
themselves?
Dan Martell. I'm buying my time back. Like I think I have the right people in the right places. Traction. Like I think I'm following everything
Karina,
that we know.
You call bullshit on this or what?
No.
Yeah. No, actually.
No, on the hope. I don't call bullshit on the hope. I call
On what?
On what?
Can Michael Siciliano.
Oh.
What?
Can the rain's over?
Can he?
Oh, yeah,
Can he
right.
empower
That's a
someone
great
else?
question.
No. This is where Mike's
Great
partnership
person.
with guys like me will benefit.
Oh,
him,
100%.
Just like my partnership with Mike benefits me from an operational and a management standpoint. Mike's a
100%.
way better operator and manager than I ever could be.
But I think
and
this
want to be. But if I had a concern, like
Yeah,
as
it's
your
funny.
friend,
I know.
I'm like, bro, you really see yourself at a point where you are going to actually trust someone with your baby.
And that's why I said, like, I think at 40 years old, I don't think I won't work.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be obsessed and want my hands on it, but building TLOP, right?
Yes.
All these sectors we have, career advisory, TLOP's originator coaching, like building this with you, I think I can leave a mark. They're going to be like, oh yeah, Mike was the CMO of TLOP, you know, and he did great things with Dustin.
By the time you're 40, we'll get you as the executive on the board of these 5 companies.
Yeah.
Right. But like that's where I think Steven and I will get to work with you a little bit.
Yeah.
And force you to empower others
Let it
and to let
go.
go. Yes, we'll start singing Frozen for you.
Yeah.
So my answer was this, like, and because I'm 10 years ahead of you, 20 years ahead of Karina, like I can say, like, so fortunate. I truly retired from production in November of 2025.
Yep.
And I'll tell anyone tuning in, anyone who tells you it's not about the money is full of shit.
Yeah.
But here's what I can tell you from experience. It's all about the money until you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you realize it's not about the money.
It's the pursuit.
It's never been about the money.
Yeah.
You can't fully realize that until you got the money.
Yep.
Then you can be like, shit, this doesn't really satisfy me. Let's look back. It is about the journey. So now I've learned that, like, life is a journey, live it. It's an adventure and have fun. There's only one destination, one end point. None of us want to go there. It's called death. Right. So I don't want to get to the end. So therefore, I need to quit racing. But I am fortunate to say, like, I am out to change lives. Mm-hmm. Throughout my career, won awards, made big fat paychecks, was recognized multiple times over. You know what matters most to me? The number of careers. The number of careers that we were able to support, stand up, or even like create, that matters more, right? To see people where they are with their families and their careers, the money they have, the lives that they're living, and know that I played a part in that.
Yeah.
So when Anthony asked me, like, well, what are your hopes? And I was like, well, I need to qualify that, like, you know, because my hopes are truly that my children have an amazing life, that they don't have to deal with a whole lot of heartache themselves, and that they stay healthy. That's what matters most to me. Mm-hmm. Once we can get that satisfied, I'm like, okay, let me get granular with you. In 2 years, TLOP has 900 members of the TLOP coaching community. In 2 years, we have 48 at any given time members of our elite coaching, right? They're getting the one-on-one coaching. Every year, we're graduating 100 people from the launch boot camp every year. And I'm working with a dozen mortgage companies, consistently graduating 20, 30, or 40 of their originators through that same boot camp on a twice by year basis, every semester, right? Spring semester, fall semester.
Yep.
I'm still creating my content. I'm still traveling the country and speaking on stages, and I'm making a difference. Like, I make a difference because if I can make an LO better, they can be a better partner to a realtor. If I can make an LO better, they can be a better advisor to the home buyer.
Yep.
Right. So I'm still making a difference. I'm still helping create careers. I'm just wanting to do so on a national level. And yes, I too, in my hopes, take 6 weeks vacation.
Yeah.
I too spend 5 months a year out in Frisco, Colorado. I spend 6 months a year either in Central Florida or over in St. Pete Beach. Mm-hmm. And 1 month a year, my wife and I every single year pick someone somewhere new. Right? Somewhere
That's cool.
new.
Yeah.
It could be New York City. It could be Seattle.
Could be Italy.
It could be Italy. And we just pick 1 month and we're like, we're going there for a whole entire month.
I love it.
That's
And
the goal. See, that's my
Karina's
goal.
like, actually, that's
that's
that
what I
one's
want.
mine.
That's what I want.
That one's mine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just fast forward 22 years.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you'll be getting there, right?
But hopefully my husband will have that.
Yeah, right. He'll have it taken care of. That's what your sister
All right,
thought
well,
too.
then, hey, you need to start going and hanging out with people who love to sell things for a living.
Yeah.
For
If you
sure.
like to sell things for a living,
Sales is
you
where
got
the money's
that
at.
hustle, you got the entrepreneur spirit. That's where you need to go. Y'all, so here's our thought for you all, because we have to wrap this thing up and conclude today's episode. Do this exercise with your team.
Yeah.
Do this exercise with your girlfriends. Do this exercise with your kids at the dinner table. Right? Use this exercise when you're being interviewed, or better yet, when you're interviewing someone.
Yeah.
But all you're trying to walk through is history, heroes, heartbreak, and hopes. Right? Those 4 words can create an entire podcast episode.
Yeah.
But it can also make a stranger feel like a best friend in 20 minutes or less. Look, if you like this type of content, we're going to ask you, share it. Sharing is caring. If you're on Spotify or Apple, give us a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube and you're watching us, thank you so much. Click that subscribe button. If you're not on YouTube, I got to tell you, you're missing out. We have additional content that is only for YouTube that doesn't show up on Apple and Spotify. So make sure you still listen to us on Apple or Spotify, but go over to YouTube and subscribe. And for our loan officer friends, our mortgage broker friends, this is your opportunity. Cabins are filling up fast. We have our first ever TLOP event. It's a Caribbean takeover. We're going to the Bahamas. We're taking over a private island. We're going to do sunsets together and beach bashes together. Maybe even going to get Mike in a cowboy hat, some cowboy boots with his board shorts. And we're going to do this Caribbean cowboy themed
Love it.
bash. We're also going to network. We're also going to mastermind. We're also going to connect as mortgage professionals and share best practices. Come on this ship with us. It's going to be the coolest event, the most affordable, honestly.
Yeah,
most
it really
affordable
is.
event. All of the information can be found on our website, which is tloponline.com. What you're looking for is the TLOP Unite event. It's the Caribbean Takeover, September 14th through 18th. We look forward to seeing you there. She's Karina. He's Mike. I'm Dio. That's all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.